In the United States, Mars is a big name in candy, earning over $22 billion a year and reaching millions of homes. But have you ever wondered how the famous Mars bar is made? From its soft nougat and sweet caramel to its creamy chocolate coating, let's explore how this classic treat comes to life. Mars bars, the snack that has fueled countless study sessions, been the ultimate Halloween prize, and served as the not-so-secret weapon for anyone needing a sugar-fueled pick-me-up. But have you ever stopped mid-bite to wonder, where did this gooey chocolate wonder come from? Let's unwrap the history. Pun very much intended. The story begins in 1932, during the heyday of jazz music speakeasies and the golden age of candy innovation. Enter Forrest Mars Sr., the son of Frank Mars, who founded the Mars Company. Now, family businesses can be tricky, and the Mars clan was no exception. Forrest and Frank didn't always see eye to eye, but if there's one thing they agreed on, it was the universal truth. People will always love chocolate. Forrest Sr., after a stint in Europe, noticed the popularity of the British sweet Milky Way. No, not the American version. It's less sweet and more nougat forward. Inspired, he set out to create a bar that would blend nougat, caramel, and milk chocolate into one harmonious snack. Thus, the Mars bar was born in Slough, England. Yes, Slough, a town more famous now for The Office than its candy-making prowess. The Mars bar was a hit, becoming a staple snack across the UK. Meanwhile, on the other side of the Atlantic, Americans had their own love affair with the Milky Way. Was it a family feud over candy supremacy? Perhaps. But one thing was clear, the Mars empire was expanding faster than a kid on a sugar rush. In the decades that followed, Mars became a chocolate diplomat of sorts. The bar was tweaked and tailored for different markets, with some countries getting versions that were nuttier or sweeter. If Mars bars were people, they'd have had a passport filled with more stamps than a travel influencer. One of the quirkiest chapters in Mars history involves almonds. In the United States, what we know today as a Snickers almond was for years marketed as the Mars bar. This led to a lot of confusion for anyone traveling between continents, expecting the nougat and caramel delight only to find almonds crashing the party. It's like going to a Beatles concert and finding out the opening act is a polka band. Forrest Mars Sr. wasn't fazed. He knew that tinkering with recipes kept people talking and buying. Mars bars have seen it all. World War II rationing, space race-fueled sci-fi marketing, and even deep-fried fame at Scottish chip shops. Because why not? Whether melted in a pocket or elegantly plated at a carnival, the bar has proven it's the people's chocolate. It's the snack equivalent of that friend who's always game for an adventure, even if it involves being battered and tossed in hot oil. Making a Mars bar is a fascinating mix of clever machines, skilled techniques, and careful work. It takes simple ingredients and turns them into a delicious chocolate treat loved all around the world. Let's take a look. At the heart of every Mars bar are three core elements: nougat, caramel, and milk chocolate. These components are made from high-quality ingredients sourced from around the world, each chosen for its specific contribution to the final product. The nougat begins with egg whites, which are whipped to create the fluffy, airy structure that defines this layer. These egg whites must be fresh and pasteurized to ensure safety and consistency. To stabilize the foam and give the nougat its signature texture, a sugar syrup is crafted from a precise mixture of glucose and sucrose. The glucose syrup prevents crystallization, while the sucrose provides sweetness. Malted milk powder is added to introduce a slightly roasted, creamy note, while a touch of vanilla extract rounds out the flavor with its warm, aromatic profile. The caramel is a symphony of sugar, butter, and cream. Granulated sugar forms the base, melted down and cooked to a specific temperature where it begins to caramelize and develop its rich golden color. Butter is then added for its luxurious mouthfeel, followed by cream to create the smooth, chewy consistency that makes Mars bar caramel so iconic. A pinch of salt balances the sweetness and enhances the overall flavor. The chocolate coating combines cocoa solids, cocoa butter, sugar, and milk powder. Each component is carefully measured to ensure a consistent texture and flavor. The The cocoa solids provide the chocolate's rich, earthy notes, while the cocoa butter ensures a smooth, creamy finish. The milk powder and sugar work together to create the sweet, dairy-rich taste that complements the caramel and nougat. Nougat production begins in massive industrial mixers capable of handling hundreds of liters of ingredients at a time. Egg whites are poured into the mixing bowl, where they are whipped at high speeds to create a stable, frothy foam. This step is critical, as the whipped egg whites form the foundation of the nougat's light, airy texture. The speed and duration of whipping are precisely controlled to achieve the desired consistency. Too much whipping would collapse the foam, while too little would result in a dense, chewy nougat. Simultaneously, sugar and glucose syrup are heated in large stainless steel kettles. These kettles are equipped with advanced temperature controls and stirring mechanisms to ensure the syrup reaches the precise temperature needed to stabilize the nougat without overcooking. This sugar syrup is then carefully drizzled into the whipped egg whites, while the mixer continues to beat, ensuring an even distribution and creating a fluffy marshmallow-like mousse. To enhance the nougat's flavor, malted milk powder is sifted into the mixture, adding a creamy, slightly toasted note. Vanilla extract is added last, as its delicate aroma can dissipate if mixed too early. Once the nougat reaches the perfect consistency, it is transferred through stainless steel pipes onto a conveyor belt. Here, the nougat is spread into an even layer using automated rollers, ensuring a uniform thickness across the entire slab. The conveyor belt carries the nougat slab through a cooling tunnel, where chilled air circulates to set the nougat without compromising its texture. The temperature in this tunnel is carefully monitored. Too much cooling could make the nougat brittle, while insufficient cooling would leave it sticky and difficult to handle. The caramel layer begins in another section of the factory, where sugar is melted in enormous, jacketed kettles. These kettles are designed with double-walled construction to allow precise control over the heating process, preventing the sugar from scorching or crystallizing. The sugar is melted slowly, with constant stirring provided by automated paddles. As the sugar heats, it transforms into a golden liquid, releasing the characteristic aroma of caramelization. Once the sugar reaches its optimal stage, butter is added in measured amounts. The butter not only enriches the caramel's flavor, but also gives it a smooth, glossy texture. Cream is then poured in gradually, causing the caramel to bubble and foam. This step requires precise timing and temperature control, as adding the cream too quickly or at the wrong temperature could cause the caramel to separate. The caramel is cooked until it reaches the perfect consistency, soft enough to provide a chewy texture but firm enough to hold its shape. A pinch of salt is added at the final stage to enhance the sweetness and create a balanced flavor profile. The finished caramel is piped through heated tubes onto the cooled nougat layer, forming a thick, uniform coating. As the caramel flows, automated leveling systems ensure that it spreads evenly across the nougat. This layered slab is then sent through a secondary cooling tunnel. Here, the caramel is cooled just enough to set, ensuring it bonds firmly with the nougat without becoming too hard or brittle. With the nougat and caramel layers bonded, the slab is now ready to be shaped into individual bars. The slab enters a cutting station, where advanced guillotine-style cutters, equipped with laser-guided sensors, slice it into smaller sections. These cutters operate at incredibly high speeds, slicing hundreds of bars per minute while maintaining precise dimensions. The bars are then separated slightly on the conveyor belt to ensure they don't stick together during the next phase. Cameras positioned along the line inspect each bar for uniformity, identifying any irregular shapes or inconsistencies. Bars that fail to meet the exacting standards are removed from the production line and either reprocessed or discarded. The sliced bars proceed to the enrobing station, where they are coated in a luxurious layer of milk chocolate. The chocolate is prepared in massive tempering machines that heat and cool the mixture to create a glossy finish and a perfect snap when bitten into. This tempering process is critical. It involves heating the chocolate to around 45 degrees Celsius, 113 degrees Fahrenheit, cooling it to 27 degrees Celsius, 81 degrees Fahrenheit, and then reheating it slightly to 31 degrees Celsius, 88 degrees Fahrenheit. This precise sequence ensures the cocoa butter crystals are stabilized, giving the chocolate its smooth texture and shiny appearance. As the bars move along a conveyor belt, they pass through a chocolate curtain, a continuous waterfall of melted chocolate that envelops each bar completely. Excess chocolate drips off the bars and is collected in a reservoir below, where it is filtered and recycled back into the tempering machine. To ensure an even coating, the bars pass over a gentle vibrating belt, which shakes off any air bubbles and smooths the surface of the chocolate. At the end of the enrobing station, textured rollers create the iconic wave pattern on the top of each bar. The freshly coated bars enter a cooling tunnel, where they are exposed to carefully controlled temperatures that solidify the chocolate without causing bloom, a phenomenon where cocoa butter rises to the surface, creating a dull white film. Every Mars bar undergoes rigorous quality control checks to ensure it meets the brand's exacting standards. Automated vision systems use high-resolution cameras to scan each bar, checking for consistency in size, shape, and coating. These systems can identify even the smallest imperfections, such as uneven chocolate distribution or air pockets in the nougat. In addition to automated inspections, human quality control experts conduct random taste tests and physical checks. These experts are trained to identify subtle variations in flavor, texture, and appearance, ensuring that every Mars bar delivers the same level of quality and satisfaction. Bars that fail to meet these standards are removed from the production line. In some cases, these bars are reprocessed to recover ingredients, minimizing waste and enhancing sustainability. Once the bars pass inspection, they move to the packaging station. Here, high-speed wrapping machines encase each bar in its iconic wrapper. These machines use heat-sealing technology to ensure the packaging is airtight, preserving freshness and protecting the bar from external contaminants. The wrapped bars are then sorted into boxes and sealed for distribution. Advanced logistics systems ensure the boxes are labeled and tracked, enabling efficient transportation to stores and distribution centers around the globe. Mars bars have maintained their status as a global favorite by consistently delivering a harmonious blend of nougat, caramel, and milk chocolate. This classic combination has resonated with consumers for decades, offering a reliable indulgence that appeals to a wide audience. In the United Kingdom, for instance, approximately 41% of chocolate consumers reported enjoying a Mars bar within the past year, underscoring its enduring popularity. Mars Incorporated, the producer of Mars bars, continues to lead the confectionery industry, achieving net sales of around $22 billion in 2023. This financial success is underpinned by the company's unwavering commitment to quality. From the careful selection of premium ingredients to stringent quality control measures, Mars ensures that each bar meets high standards, fostering consumer trust and loyalty. Strategic marketing has also played a pivotal role in maintaining the Mars bar's popularity. By positioning the bar as a source of energy and satisfaction, Mars has effectively connected with consumers' desires for both indulgence and functionality. This approach has solidified the Mars bar's status as a go-to snack for various occasions. Innovation remains central to Mars' strategy. The company continually explores new flavors, sizes, and limited edition offerings to keep the product line fresh and engaging. This balance between honoring the classic recipe and introducing novel variations allows Mars to cater to evolving consumer preferences while preserving the essence of the beloved Mars bar. The Mars bar has earned its place as a global icon, loved for its perfect mix of nougat, caramel, and chocolate. Its timeless appeal lies in its quality, innovation, and the joy it brings to every bite. How do you enjoy your Mars bar? Classic, frozen, or in a recipe? Starbucks serves over 4 billion cups of coffee every year, enough to fill about 379 Olympic-sized swimming pools. making it one of the most loved coffee brands in the world. It's known for its rich flavors and endless drink options. But have you ever wondered how your favorite coffee is made, from the farm to the cup? Let's take a closer look at what goes into creating the Starbucks experience. In 1971, three guys in Seattle, Jerry Baldwin, Zev Siegel, and Gordon Bowker, decided they were tired of the same old coffee routine. Inspired by a shared love for freshly roasted beans, and likely fueled by a lot of caffeine, they opened the first Starbucks in the historic Pike Place market. The name? A literary nod to Starbuck, the coffee-loving first mate in Moby Dick. Let's face it, calling it Ahab's Brew might not have aged as well. Back then, Starbucks wasn't about pumpkin spice lattes or oat milk foam art. They were purists, selling only whole coffee beans and equipment. Fancy a caramel macchiato? Not here, friend. Their motto was simple: keep it fresh, keep it bold. Think of it as the hipster cafe before hipsters were even a thing. Enter Howard Schultz in 1982, a marketing guy who saw more in Starbucks than just beans. Schultz visited Italy in 1983 and fell head over heels for its coffee culture. Picture this: cozy cafes, bustling baristas, and espresso rituals so dramatic they could win Oscars. Schultz thought, why not bring this vibe back to the US? But when he pitched the idea, the original founders were like, nah, we're good with beans. Undeterred, Schultz opened his own Italian-inspired coffee house, Il Giornale, in 1985. By 1987, Schultz had bought Starbucks outright for a cool $3.8 million. His dream? To make Starbucks the third place in people's lives. Home, work, and Starbucks. Guess which one got the most Wi-Fi? Starbucks went from one modest store to a phenomenon faster than you can say, venti iced quad, non-fat, extra hot caramel drizzle latte. By the 1990s, they were opening a new store every workday, which meant caffeine addicts everywhere were rejoicing while independent cafes grumbled into their espresso machines. The company leaned hard into branding. The siren logo? It became as recognizable as the golden arches. Seasonal drinks? They turned Starbucks into a cultural phenomenon. Let's be honest, can it even be autumn without a pumpkin spice latte? Debate that with your sweater weather friends. But not everything was smooth brewing. During the late 2000s, Starbucks faced growing pains, with critics calling it overexpanded and too corporate. Schultz swooped back in as CEO in 2008, declaring it was time to focus on what really mattered: the coffee. He famously shut down 7,100 US stores for 3 hours one afternoon to retrain baristas on the art of espresso. That's right, no lattes, just learning. Somewhere, an intern cried over their empty cup. Fast forward to today, and Starbucks isn't just about coffee anymore. They've added everything from egg bites to cold brews with nitro foam. Sustainability has also become a buzzword, with efforts to source ethical beans and reduce waste. They've even launched reserve roasteries, fancy spots where coffee becomes more like a science experiment than a morning necessity. And let's not forget the infamous spelling fails. If you've ever been handed a cup labeled Braden when you said Brian, you know the struggle is real. But hey, it's all part of the charm. Now, let's see how it's actually made. Starbucks sources its coffee beans from over 30 countries within the Coffee Belt, a region stretching between the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn. This belt includes some of the most renowned coffee-growing regions in the world. Latin America, Africa, and Asia Pacific each contribute distinctive flavors to Starbucks blends, reflecting the environment and agricultural practices of their regions. In Latin America, countries like Colombia, Guatemala, and Costa Rica are key suppliers. The beans here are celebrated for their bright acidity and notes of chocolate, nuts, and soft spices. In Africa, places like Ethiopia and Kenya yield beans with floral and citrusy qualities, offering a delicate and vibrant flavor. Meanwhile, Asia-Pacific countries such as Indonesia and Papua New Guinea provide beans known for their earthy, herbal, and full-bodied characteristics. Starbucks' commitment to ethical sourcing is evident in its coffee and farmer equity practices, developed with Conservation International. These practices ensure fair wages, support sustainable farming techniques, and promote community well-being. Farmers often grow coffee under shade canopies, a method that protects biodiversity and improves the quality of the coffee by allowing cherries to mature slowly. During harvest, many farms rely on hand-picking to ensure only the ripest cherries are collected, preserving the quality and flavor of the beans. After harvesting, the coffee cherries are processed quickly to prevent fermentation that could ruin their flavor. The processing method significantly influences the final taste of the coffee. In the washed, wet process, cherries are pulped to remove the fruit from the seeds, then fermented to break down remaining mucilage. The beans are washed thoroughly and dried, resulting in a cleaner, brighter taste. This method is common in Latin America and Africa. In the natural, dry process, cherries are spread out to dry under the sun with the fruit still intact. This process takes weeks and requires careful raking to ensure even drying. Once the cherries are dry, the fruit is removed, leaving beans with a fruity, rich, and complex flavor profile. A hybrid approach, the honey, semi-washed process, retains some fruit mucilage during drying, producing beans with balanced sweetness and body. This method is gaining popularity in Central America. Once dried, the beans are hulled, sorted by size and density, and graded based on quality. They are then packed in burlap sacks for shipping to Starbucks roasting facilities. The green coffee beans arrive at one of Starbucks' state-of-the-art roasting plants, located in the US, Europe, and Asia. Roasting is where the true flavor of the coffee is developed. Starbucks is known for its dark roasts, which highlight bold and robust flavors, but it also offers lighter roasts designed to bring out more delicate and nuanced notes. The roasting process begins in large drum roasters. The beans are tumbled under controlled heat, causing them to undergo chemical changes. Starches convert to sugars, caramelizing and creating the complex flavors that define coffee. The roasters continuously monitor time and temperature to ensure consistency. Starbucks has developed proprietary roasting curves tailored to each coffee variety and blend. This ensures that the beans' inherent flavors, shaped by their origin, are accentuated. Once the desired roast level is achieved, the beans are quickly cooled to halt the process and preserve their flavor. After roasting, the beans are either blended or prepared for single origin offerings. Blending involves combining beans from different regions to create Starbucks signature profiles, like Pike Place Roast or Espresso Roast. Each blend balances acidity, body, and flavor to achieve a harmonious taste. Grinding is tailored to how the coffee will be brewed. Coarser grinds are prepared for French press or cold brew, while finer grinds suit espresso machines. Starbucks invests in equipment that ensures consistency across all grind sizes, as even slight variations can affect the taste. Preserving the freshness of coffee is critical. Once roasted and ground, the coffee is packed in specially designed bags with one-way valves. These valves allow the natural gases released by the beans to escape while keeping oxygen out, which can degrade the coffee's quality. Whole beans are packaged for customers who prefer to grind their coffee at home, while pre-ground coffee is portioned for convenience. Each package is labeled with details about its origin, flavor notes, and roast level, helping customers choose the perfect coffee for their preferences. For products like bottled frappuccinos, cold brews, and other ready-to-drink beverages, Starbucks employs a different set of processes. These products are crafted in dedicated production facilities, where the focus shifts to consistency and flavor replication. Cold brew coffee, for instance, is steeped in cool water for up to 20 hours. This slow process extracts a smooth, naturally sweet concentrate, which is then diluted and packaged. Bottled frappuccinos are created by blending coffee with milk, sugar, and other ingredients to achieve their creamy texture. These facilities use advanced brewing equipment to scale production while maintaining the same quality customers expect from a Starbucks cafe. Ingredients like syrups and dairy undergo stringent quality checks to ensure they meet Starbucks' standards. From the roasting plants and production facilities, Starbucks products are distributed globally through a sophisticated logistics network. Every batch of coffee is thoroughly tested at multiple stages, from the farms to the factory, to ensure quality. Starbucks employs professional cuppers who taste test samples regularly, checking for consistency and ensuring the final product meets expectations. In addition to coffee, Starbucks' supply chain supports the distribution of teas, syrups, and food items. Each ingredient undergoes rigorous checks for flavor, safety, and sustainability before being sent to stores. When the coffee finally reaches your local Starbucks, baristas take over, using carefully calibrated equipment to brew each cup to perfection. Espresso machines are programmed to achieve ideal extraction, while cold brews are steeped in-house using proprietary recipes. Whether you're sipping a single origin pour-over or indulging in a caramel macchiato, the taste represents not just the beans, but the work of countless farmers, roasters, factory workers, and baristas who ensure every cup lives up to the Starbucks name. Starbucks' popularity stems from its ability to transform coffee from a simple beverage into a cultural experience. Before Starbucks, coffee was often seen as a quick morning ritual or an afterthought at diners. Starbucks elevated it into a lifestyle, creating spaces where people could gather, work, or relax. By branding their stores as a third place between home and work, they offered a sense of community and belonging. The familiar design of their cafes, complete with cozy seating, curated playlists, and the rich aroma of fresh coffee, ensured that every visit felt like a comforting ritual, no matter where in the world you were. A significant part of Starbucks' success lies in its commitment to personalization. Few brands allow such flexibility in how their product is served. Customers can craft their drinks down to the smallest detail, ensuring their coffee feels like it's made just for them. This focus on individual preference turns the transaction into a personal experience, making customers feel valued. Even the practice of writing names on cups, though sometimes hilariously misspelled, adds a human touch that has become an enduring part of the Starbucks charm, frequently shared and celebrated on social media. Starbucks' ability to balance consistency with local adaptation also plays a crucial role in its global appeal. While the brand remains recognizable worldwide, it tailors its menu and atmosphere to reflect regional tastes and cultures. From matcha lattes in Japan to dulce de leche-inspired beverages in Latin America, Starbucks creates offerings that feel authentic to the local community while maintaining its signature brand identity. This adaptability makes it appealing both to global travelers seeking familiarity and locals looking for something that resonates with their tastes. The company's commitment to innovation and social responsibility further cements its popularity. Seasonal favorites like the pumpkin spice latte generate excitement and draw customers year after year, while loyalty programs and mobile apps create seamless, engaging customer experiences. At the same time, Starbucks positions itself as a company that cares about more than just profits, with initiatives in sustainability, ethical sourcing, and community engagement. This alignment with customer values ensures that Starbucks isn't just a coffee shop. It's a brand that customers feel good about supporting, keeping them coming back time and again. Starbucks has changed how we enjoy coffee, turning it from a simple drink into something much bigger. From its carefully chosen beans to its cozy stores and famous seasonal drinks, it's become a favorite for coffee lovers everywhere. What about you? Do you visit Starbucks often or have a favorite drink you love? Share your thoughts in the comments. Twix was originally called Raider when it first launched in the UK in 1967, later rebranded into the caramel chocolate sensation we know today. Millions of Twix bars are enjoyed worldwide every year, with fans constantly debating left versus right. But have you ever wondered, how is it actually made? Let's unwrap the delicious details behind the creation of this iconic treat. Once upon a time, in a factory far, far away, it was actually in the United Kingdom in 1967, an unassuming chocolate bar was born. This chocolate-covered, caramel-laden, biscuit-based marvel wasn't called Twix at first. No, it had a much less snackable name, Raider. Raider? Really? It sounds more like a medieval warrior's snack of choice than something you'd pair with a cozy Friday night and Netflix. But let's not judge 1960s branding too harshly. After all, these were the days when a glass of condensed milk was still considered a dessert. Twix's creators, the candy masterminds at Mars, had a simple yet genius idea. Take a crispy biscuit, slather it with gooey caramel, and encase the whole thing in milk chocolate. They essentially looked at cookies, thought, how can we make these less healthy and infinitely more addictive? Mission accomplished. The 1970s brought the Twix bar to the United States, where it faced one small problem. It had to sound cool. America wasn't about to embrace anything called Raider. After much deliberation, someone, likely after a lunch break featuring half a dozen candy bars, came up with the name Twix. Allegedly a blend of twin and mix. The name perfectly captured the bar's split personality. Two identical sticks living in one wrapper, pretending they were better together. But let's not gloss over the most important development in Twix history. The great left versus right debate. You've seen the commercials. Left Twix is draped with caramel, followed by a decadent chocolate coating. Right Twix, drenched with caramel, then bathed in luxurious chocolate. Completely different processes. Obviously, this absurd feud is pure marketing gold, keeping snack enthusiasts endlessly entertained as they ponder the deep existential question. Does it matter which one you eat first? Spoiler, it doesn't. They taste exactly the same. Of course, Twix has had its share of spin-offs. There's peanut butter Twix, cookies and cream Twix, and even a white chocolate Twix, which is probably a candy bar's equivalent of an indie band trying to reinvent itself. Some variations were hits, while others, like the ill-fated Twix Fudge, were banished to the discount aisle of history. Today, Twix is a global icon, found in vending machines, Halloween buckets, and the bottom of your purse when you're desperately searching for a snack. Its success lies in its simplicity. It's a bar that doesn't try too hard. It doesn't need to. Because when you're two sticks of caramel-covered perfection, why complicate things? Now we know how Twix started. Let's see how it's made. The biscuit base of a Twix bar is crafted with precision to deliver the perfect balance of crunch, flavor, and texture. It begins with combining wheat flour, sugar, butter, and water, with a pinch of salt added for flavor balance. Each ingredient plays a specific role. The flour provides structure, butter adds richness, sugar brings sweetness, and salt enhances the overall taste. The small amount of leavening agent ensures the biscuit stays light and crisp during baking. Industrial-scale mixers blend the ingredients, carefully aerating the dough to maintain consistency. Overmixing can make the biscuit too dense, while undermixing leads to uneven baking. The dough must be soft but firm enough to roll out uniformly. Achieving this texture is vital to maintaining the biscuit's characteristic crunch, while preventing it from becoming brittle under the layers of caramel and chocolate. Once the dough is mixed, it is rolled into thin sheets by large rollers designed to maintain a consistent thickness. These sheets are sent to high-speed rotary cutters that slice them into the signature rectangular shapes. Any dough scraps from this stage are collected, reprocessed, and reintegrated into future batches to minimize waste. This is not just an efficiency measure, but also a way to ensure consistent quality across the production line. After cutting, the raw biscuits are placed on conveyor belts lined with non-stick material and moved into large tunnel ovens. These ovens are designed for even heat distribution, ensuring the biscuits bake uniformly. Temperatures are carefully controlled, as slight variations can affect the biscuit's texture and flavor. The baking time is also finely tuned to ensure the biscuits turn golden brown without becoming too hard. As the biscuits bake, a process called the Maillard reaction occurs. This natural chemical reaction between proteins and sugars gives the biscuits their golden color and enhances their flavor with subtle nutty and toasted notes. Meanwhile, the butter and sugar in the dough caramelize slightly, creating a crisp, melt-in-your-mouth texture. Once baked, the biscuits are gradually cooled on conveyor belts. This slow cooling process prevents cracking or warping, which could compromise the bar's structural integrity later in production. Each tray of biscuits undergoes visual inspection to ensure consistent size and color before moving to the next step. The caramel layer is made fresh on site to ensure its texture and flavor are just right. It starts with a mixture of sugar, glucose syrup, and milk heated in large kettles. Glucose syrup is used to prevent crystallization, keeping the caramel smooth and stretchy, while milk adds richness and a creamy undertone. During cooking, the sugars caramelize, breaking down into compounds that give the caramel its deep flavor and golden hue. Temperature control is essential here. Too much heat can result in a burnt taste, while insufficient heat leaves the caramel pale and overly sweet. Sensors continuously monitor the cooking process, ensuring every batch meets the same standard. Once the caramel is cooked, it is transferred to dispensers that evenly spread a precise layer onto each biscuit. The machinery is calibrated to deposit just the right amount, ensuring the caramel doesn't overpower the biscuit or spill out during the next steps. This stage is particularly delicate, as the caramel must remain pliable enough to bond with the chocolate layer, but firm enough to hold its shape. Chocolate coating is what transforms Twix from a biscuit with caramel into a candy bar. The chocolate used is prepared using a blend of cocoa solids, sugar, and milk. Before being applied, the chocolate is tempered, a process of heating and cooling it to stabilize the cocoa butter. This ensures a smooth finish and a satisfying snap when bitten into. The caramel-coated biscuits are fed into an enrobing machine, where a curtain of melted chocolate envelops each bar. This curtain ensures complete and even coverage. Excess chocolate drips through a mesh conveyor, while air jets gently blow off any remaining excess to create a clean, uniform coating. The thickness of the coating is precisely controlled to balance the chocolate flavor without overpowering the other layers. After enrobing, the bars are inspected visually and by sensors to ensure they meet quality standards. Bars with uneven coatings or imperfections are removed from the line, reprocessed, and reintegrated into new batches, maintaining a waste-free approach. Freshly coated Twix bars are soft and must be cooled to harden the chocolate and stabilize the layers. They are sent through cooling tunnels where chilled air circulates. The temperature inside the tunnel is carefully maintained to ensure the chocolate sets properly. If cooled too quickly, the chocolate could crack. Too slowly, and it might develop a white film known as bloom, which occurs when fat or sugar rises to the surface. The cooling process also solidifies the bond between the chocolate, caramel, and biscuit, ensuring the bar stays intact during handling and packaging. By the time the bars exit the tunnel, the chocolate is set to a firm yet creamy consistency, ready for wrapping. Wrapping is the final step before Twix bars are sent out into the world. High-speed machines align the bars and enclose them in the iconic gold and red foil wrappers. These machines operate at incredible speeds, wrapping hundreds of bars per minute, but the precision is remarkable. Each wrapper is perfectly sealed to keep the bars fresh. The foil isn't just for aesthetics. It serves as a barrier against moisture, light, and air, all of which could degrade the bar's quality. Each wrapper is printed with important information, such as batch numbers and expiration dates, for traceability. Sensors on the production line scan the finished bars, ensuring they are properly wrapped and meet quality standards. Imperfectly wrapped bars are removed from the line to maintain a flawless final product. Once wrapped, the bars are packed into cartons and loaded onto pallets for distribution. Logistics teams use state-of-the-art systems to track each shipment, ensuring that bars move quickly and efficiently to stores. Twix bars are often shipped within days of production, ensuring consumers enjoy them at peak freshness. The cartons are stored in temperature-controlled warehouses to protect the chocolate from melting or blooming. From there, they're distributed to retailers, vending machines, and supermarkets worldwide, ready to be enjoyed by millions of snack lovers. Twix's popularity stems from its perfect combination of textures and flavors. The crunch of the biscuit, the creamy caramel, and the smooth chocolate work together seamlessly to create a snack that feels both comforting and indulgent. This balance has made it a favorite for generations, offering something universally appealing in every bite. What sets Twix apart is its ability to evolve while staying true to its identity. The classic caramel and biscuit formula remains the core of the brand, but innovations like peanut butter Twix and limited edition varieties keep consumers intrigued. By introducing new flavors and seasonal releases, Twix keeps things fresh without straying too far from what makes it special. Clever marketing has also played a major role in Twix's success. Campaigns like the playful left Twix versus right Twix rivalry have given the brand personality and sparked conversations, turning a candy bar into a fun cultural phenomenon. This approach makes Twix more than just a treat. It becomes a shared experience that resonates with people of all ages. Ultimately, Twix's success lies in its consistency. Every bar is made with care, ensuring the same satisfying experience every time. Coupled with Mars' commitment to sustainable practices and high-quality ingredients, Twix has built trust and loyalty among its fans. It's this dedication to both quality and creativity that keeps Twix a timeless favorite in candy aisles worldwide. Twix's story is one of sweet success, built on irresistible flavor, clever innovation, and a commitment to quality that keeps snackers coming back for more. From its classic caramel crunch to its playful marketing battles, Twix has secured its place as a beloved treat around the globe. But with so many flavors and that eternal left versus right debate, there's always something new to discover. So, what's your take? Are you team left or team right? Or do you have a favorite Twix flavor that stands above the rest? Let us know in the comments. Kellogg's sells over 2 billion Pop-Tarts every year, making it one of the most popular breakfast snacks in the world. That's enough to stack them to the moon and back, and still have enough left to survive a road trip with your kids. But have you ever wondered, how is a Pop-Tart actually made in a factory? Let's take a look at the process that turns simple ingredients into these iconic toaster pastries. In the 1960s, America was buzzing with innovation. People were racing to the moon, grooving to the Beatles, and apparently growing increasingly impatient with breakfast. Enter the battle for the toaster pastry, a tale as sweet and cutthroat as the product itself. It all started with Post, the company famous for grape nuts, a cereal about as exciting as its name. They had this groundbreaking idea for a quick, pre-packaged breakfast. A fruit-filled pastry sealed in foil so it could sit on a shelf for months without going bad. They called it Country Squares. The name alone felt like it came from the same department that decided raisins were exciting. Post thought they had a winner. But then they made a rookie mistake. They bragged about it before launching. Somewhere in the Kellogg's boardroom, someone must have snickered and said, "We can do better." Within 6 months, Kellogg's had their own version ready to roll, complete with a name that screamed 60s cool, Pop-Tarts. Inspired by the pop art craze of the era, think Andy Warhol and Campbell's soup cans, Pop-Tarts hit the shelves in 1964, stealing the thunder from Post's yet-to-launch product. The first flavors, strawberry, blueberry, apple currant, and brown sugar cinnamon, were simple, but they were a hit. People loved the convenience, and toasters finally found a purpose beyond just making plain old toast. But here's the kicker. The early versions of Pop-Tarts weren't frosted. Why? Because the frosting couldn't survive the toaster. It would melt into a sticky mess, or worse, start smoking like a bad science experiment. So for the first few years, Pop-Tarts were naked, just fruit filling in a pastry shell, and yet people still loved them. Then, in 1967, Kellogg's engineers cracked the frosting code. They developed a coating that could endure the toaster's heat, giving birth to the frosted Pop-Tart we know today. This was a game changer. Kids were suddenly waking up excited for breakfast. Parents were relieved they didn't have to cook. And toaster sales probably went through the roof. As the years went on, Pop-Tarts became more than just breakfast. By the 1990s, Kellogg's was pumping out wild new flavors like s'mores and cookies and cream, and even dabbling in seasonal designs and quirky marketing campaigns. Who could forget those bizarre commercials where anthropomorphic Pop-Tarts lived, in terror of being toasted alive? Disturbing, yes, but undeniably memorable. Today, Pop-Tarts are a cultural icon. They've inspired everything from DIY recipes to novelty cafes, where you can order a Pop-Tart milkshake or, if you're feeling bold, a Pop-Tart taco. They've even become the subject of internet debates: toasted or untoasted, frosted or unfrosted. If you're team unfrosted, we respect you, but we don't understand you. All right, let's go deep into the factory and uncover every detail of how Pop-Tarts are made. This isn't just a tour, it's an odyssey through the engineering, ingredients, and meticulous processes that bring these toaster pastries to life. It all begins with the dough. The recipe is surprisingly simple: enriched wheat flour, water, sugar, salt, and fat. Typically a combination of palm oil and shortening. These ingredients are precisely weighed and loaded into industrial-sized mixers the size of small cars. The goal? To create a dough that is pliable, yet firm enough to hold its shape during baking and filling. The mixing process is carefully timed and temperature controlled. Too much mixing, and the dough becomes tough. Too little, and it won't have the structure needed for those clean edges. Massive paddles churn the ingredients, forming a smooth, slightly elastic mass that's divided into manageable portions. These portions are then fed into giant sheeters, machines equipped with rolling pins the size of tree trunks. The sheeter flattens the dough into thin, even sheets, about 2 millimeters thick. The thickness is crucial. It needs to be sturdy enough to hold the filling, but not so thick that it overpowers the flavor. The dough sheets are continuously monitored by sensors that measure thickness, width, and consistency, ensuring every batch meets the strict Pop-Tart standard. While the dough is being prepared, the filling is mixed in another part of the factory. Each flavor has its own unique recipe, but the basic components include a blend of fruit or chocolate, sugar, corn syrup, and stabilizers like pectin. For fruit-based fillings, real fruit purees are combined with artificial flavors to amplify the taste and create that signature Pop-Tart sweetness. The filling is cooked in massive vats, where it's gently heated and stirred to achieve the right viscosity. Temperature control here is critical. Too hot, and the sugars can caramelize, altering the flavor. Too cold, and the filling won't flow smoothly during the assembly process. The finished product is a thick, glossy paste that's stored in insulated tanks connected to the filling machines. These machines are marvels of precision. Fitted with nozzles that can pump filling at high speeds, they deposit exact portions onto the bottom layer of dough. Each dollop is measured to the milligram, ensuring every Pop-Tart has just the right amount of gooey goodness inside. Once the filling is in place, another sheet of dough is unrolled over the top. This step is surprisingly delicate. Machines gently lay the second layer to avoid compressing the filling too much. The two layers of dough then pass through a series of rollers that press them together, creating a tight seal around each pocket of filling. Here's where things get interesting. Specialized crimping machines stamp down around each filling pocket, sealing the edges and forming the iconic rectangle shape. The crimping process is essential, not just for aesthetics, but to ensure the filling doesn't leak out during baking. Tiny perforations are also poked into the top layer of dough to allow steam to escape, preventing the pastries from puffing up or bursting in the oven. Once crimped and cut, the excess dough, called trim, is collected, re-kneaded, and sent back through the sheeter to be reused in the next batch. This zero-waste approach ensures efficiency and keeps production costs down. The pastries, now fully assembled, are loaded onto an endless conveyor belt. and sent into a tunnel oven that spans the length of a basketball court. This oven operates at high temperatures, typically between 400 degrees Fahrenheit and 500 degrees Fahrenheit, depending on the flavor and dough composition. The baking time is carefully calibrated, too short, and the dough remains raw, too long, and it becomes dry and brittle. As the Pop-Tarts move through the oven, hot air circulates around them, ensuring even baking. The edges turn golden, the dough firms up, and the filling thickens slightly as it heats. Sensors along the conveyor track temperature and moisture levels, while workers keep an eye out for any pastries that might have split or burned. The aroma at this stage is indescribable, a mix of warm pastry, caramelized sugar, and fruit filling. It's the kind of smell that makes you wish factories had visitor tasting rooms. After cooling, the pastries head to the frosting station. This is where science meets art. The frosting, made of powdered sugar, water, and stabilizers, is kept at a specific temperature to maintain its viscosity. Machines equipped with precision nozzles apply an even layer of frosting to the top of each pastry. The frosting flows in ribbons, creating that smooth, glossy finish we all recognize. For flavors with sprinkles, the pastries pass under sprinkling machines that shower them with colorful bits of sugar while the frosting is still wet. Timing here is key. If the frosting sets before the sprinkles are added, they won't stick, and the Pop-Tart would lose some of its charm. Once frosted, the pastries go through a rigorous quality control process. Cameras equipped with AI algorithms scan each Pop-Tart for defects, off-center filling, uneven frosting, or broken edges. Workers also inspect random samples by hand to ensure they meet Kellogg's exacting standards. Rejected Pop-Tarts don't go to waste. Depending on the issue, they may be reprocessed into other products or used in experimental batches. And yes, some lucky workers get to snack on them during breaks. The final step is packaging. Pop-Tarts are paired up and sent through foil wrapping machines that seal them in their signature shiny pouches. The foil isn't just for looks. It's designed to keep the pastries fresh by protecting them from air and moisture. Each pouch is nitrogen flushed before sealing to further extend shelf life. The pouches are then grouped into boxes, which are sealed, labeled, and loaded onto pallets. From there, they're shipped to warehouses and distributed to stores around the world. The entire process, from mixing the dough to boxing the finished product, takes just a few hours. Pop-Tarts have remained a breakfast and snack favorite for decades, thanks to their unbeatable combination of convenience, nostalgia, and playful charm. Whether toasted or eaten straight from the foil, they offer a no-fuss, portable treat that fits perfectly into busy lifestyles. For many, Pop-Tarts are more than food. They're a bite of childhood. That nostalgic pull, combined with flavors ranging from classic strawberry to wild creations like s'mores, has made them a staple in pantries across generations. Kellogg's has kept Pop-Tarts relevant by constantly evolving the brand. Seasonal releases, collaborations with pop culture icons, and limited edition flavors create excitement and keep fans curious. The brand also embraces its playful image, using social media to engage younger audiences with humor and memes, while experimenting with quirky ideas, like Pop-Tarts cafes and unexpected flavor mashups. Even as trends shift, Kellogg's adapts, introducing reduced sugar and organic options to appeal to health-conscious consumers without losing the product's signature fun. At its core, Pop-Tart's success lies in its ability to stay fresh while remaining familiar. By combining classic appeal with bold innovation, Kellogg's ensures Pop-Tarts remain a beloved snack that transcends fads, ready to toast, grab, or share for generations to come. What's your favorite Pop-Tart flavor? And do you prefer it toasted or straight from the foil? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this behind-the-scenes look, don't forget to like and subscribe for more food stories and snack secrets.